You're welcome back. Now, Cork managed to squeak out a win over All-Ireland champions Limerick in a captivating clash at the weekend. But controversy has surrounded the game after senior politicians criticised the decision to feature such a high-profile hurling encounter exclusively on streaming service GAAGO. Both the Taoiseach Simon Harris and Taoiseach Micheál Martin have expressed their concerns at the service having the rights to such a popular game. The GAA president, Jarlath Burns, responded by stating he was very surprised by the criticism. Fine Gael Senator Tim Lombard is still with me, joined as well by the two-time Cork All-Star turned pundit Tomás Mulcahy and senior lecturer in economics at Cork University Business School, Dr. Declan Jordan. Gentlemen, you're all very, very welcome. Senator, what would you like Jarlath Burns to do now? The Taoiseach has said that he is open to meeting with him. I understand he met with Thomas Byrne, the Fianna Fáil Minister of State with responsibility for sport last week. What would you like him to do?
I think first of all he needs to engage with the Oireachtas and probably engage with his membership. I think, number one, I asked him to engage the Oireachtas last Thursday before this match because I knew there was going to be an issue. I also raised this issue last December when it actually worked out that 3 of the 4 Cork matches were going to be behind a paywall, which made, in my opinion, totally unviable going forward. And he also needs to engage with the membership. I fundamentally believe the president of GAA has lost the dress room when it comes to the membership. The membership of the GAA are up in arms about what's after happening. You take the scenario that we have at the moment. The main matches now are being kept in a paid wall behind the actual door. So your opportunity to see him is if you actually get involved with GAAGO, go through the actual password, watch on your phone or your iPad. It's not a very, very easy way of doing business. There is great frustration within the GAA members. I'm a former chair of my own GAA club. Last Saturday morning, I was at a blitz down in a place called Riverstick with maybe 18 or 19 other clubs, under 8 blitz. The feeling on the ground that day was absolutely unbelievable. The membership, the parents, the people who supported GAA don't understand why we're being put there, why there's a paywall being put in front of us. So what I would now say to the President GAA after this interview today, I would say you need to engage. You need to come back and engage with your membership.
What if he engages and he says, well, Senator, what's the alternative?
Well, I think
where are those games going to be broadcast?
I think there's capacity within the actual networks. I think there's capacity within this network and within RT itself. I fundamentally believe a partnership put in place by the RT and the GAA, which is going to share the profits, is not going to benefit the members of GAA. I think that just doesn't work. So if they're to make €5 million, which they won't, €2.5 million goes to RT. Is that going to benefit children who are going to go into sport? It won't. He mentioned today, at one of his interviews, that he's a capital plan of nearly €500 million. It's quite possible that GAAGO won't make €5 million per year, and that doesn't include the cost of running the operation. So he needs to go back to the ethos of the GAA, and the ethos of the GAA is quite simple. It's based on community. It's based on an amateur volunteer aspect. I fundamentally believe Croke Park and the GAA now are different. Croke Park have one outlook, the GAA have another outlook. The GAA are the people on the ground, the people that I meet in Riverstick at the cool camps. They're the people that are up in arms. So I would appeal now to the President GAA to do the right thing, step back from the brink of this thing.
Tomás Mulcahy, what was the sense amongst people in Páirc Uí Chaoimh and in Cork as well in recent days and weeks? The Senator is right. I mean, 3 of Cork's marquee games were behind a paywall and everyone knew it was coming. What have people been saying to you?
I think people are very disappointed as well. And look, it's not just the 3 hurling matches. We had a football match as well, a big Cork-Kerry football match in Killarney was behind a paywall as well. And look, my thinking here, and I echo what Tim was said in terms of the members and the people that I feel sorry for. Yeah, I can go to a pub or I can go to a club or I can go to a hotel or I can get it on my own laptop or on my own TV. But it's the older generation that gave so much to the GAA. These are the guys that over the years would have put 5 or 6 kids into the back of their car, put the jerseys in the boot, collected the hurleys, the slitters, the helmets, the footballs, brought guys to matches, brought them home. A lot of these people now are living on their own, maybe don't have family to go and tune them in to an afternoon game or a night game. And these guys were so used just to sitting back, not able to go to a match anymore, and tune in to an RTE channel on a given Saturday or Sunday and watch their beloved games. And I think that's very, very disappointing, I must say. And look, it's This hasn't happened just this weekend, and the Taoiseach was in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and I'm sure he saw for first sight himself what this means to people, what it means to community. But also, this was there last year. And the big thing for me was, after last year, there was so much controversy about it as well. There was so much giving out about it. There was to be a review.
Yeah.
And there was a review to take place where everything like this would be examined. I didn't see any results of any review. In actual fact, I think more games have gone down the road of the GAAGO at this stage. There's a two-way partnership, which I just can't understand in terms of RTE. Pay the GAA for rights of the games. And now they're taking money out of it by charging members
the focus
to see the games.
Tomás, But the focus, understandably, is on, say, the big game in Páirc Uí Chaoimh on Saturday night. It was such a great game. But the match earlier in the day, now I really wanted to avoid mentioning this match, but I've been forced to do it. Kilkenny and Carlow, that was a drawn game. I mean, that was a huge, huge result for Carlow, and huge work went into that from a Carlow perspective. Without GAAGO, that match would be nowhere.
Yeah, but you could also, Kieran, say in terms of other matches, okay? Other matches over the last couple of weeks. And this is where there is a big issue. And Jarlath Burns, since he went in as president, to be fair to the man, has said there is maybe an opportunity to go back to our September All-Ireland series, which means your games would actually be spread out a bit further. What we have at the moment is the compactness of games, that there is no, there is a contractual obligation on them this weekend. He said this morning in his interview to show the Ulster football final and the Leinster football final as well. Can I ask you, Kieran, if he didn't, if one of those went behind a paywall, what would be the reaction above in Dublin to it? What would be the reaction to the north, in the north to it?
Yeah, I suspect it'd be the exact same reaction that we're hearing from Cork.
I'm coming from a hurling perspective, and I think hurling has been let down in terms of not showing these types of quality games. There's only so many teams in Ireland playing hurling at a very, very high standard level. Yeah. And Munster Championship has proven over the last, and Munster Championship and Leinster Championship has proven over the last number of years. We cannot. I mean, the promotional game to me has been let down here. And I'm not against the economic side of it. I know you have the professor from UCC. I'm very much involved in One Cork down here, and I see the commercial side of things, but not penalising our own members for giving so much time.
Let me bring in Declan Jordan from UCC. Declan, can you see a place in the GAA landscape going forward for GAAGO?
Yes, absolutely. And I think GAAGO is actually a sensible and positive development for the GAA. I'm not sure what history we're thinking of here. Before the deal with Sky, before the GAAGO, before the round robin in the Munster Hurling Championship, it was possible maybe to put some matches on, most of the matches on, but there were fewer matches. The GAA does not own RTE. The GAA does not own Virgin Media. The GAA can't decide what goes on the television on a Saturday night or on a Sunday. They make a deal like any other sports organisation with broadcasters, and they sell those rights the rights to their matches to the broadcasters, and there's contractual obligations with each of those. I mean, I hear the upset that hurling people express about not being able to see the matches on RTE, but hurling isn't the only sport in Ireland. It doesn't have a right to be broadcast on RTE the same night as the Cork Limerick match. Munster played Connacht. That was shown on RTE. TG Carr showed Leinster and the Ospreys. So were we to put those off to put on a hurling match? There's just as many volunteers, or just as many coaches bringing kids in cars to those sports as there is hurling as well. But this goes back, I think, to the role of the government. There is no role for government here. I'm not defending the GAA, but I would be very upset if I was Jarlath Burns being lectured by a senator, and being lectured by the Taoiseach, and being lectured by the Taoiseach about refocusing down to their grassroots. The GAA are doing a great job promoting hurling. Saturday night's match was a sellout. Nearly all the Munster Championship matches were sellouts. They're obviously promoting the game fairly well at December.
Let me go back to the Senator.
Like Declan's view.
You actually said it yourself, Senator. You were at that blitz down in Riverstick. Now you've given 3 plugs to them. I hope there's a few votes down there for you. But you've given 3 plugs to huge blitz, as you said, massive amount of teams there. Sounds like the GAA are doing a bloody great job.
So we've no hurling on any TV channel last weekend or the weekend before. And that's supposed to be doing a great job to promote the GAA regarding hurling in particular. This is very serious on our part.
But which match would you bump? Which one of the rugby matches would you not have shown?
So if we were to look at it, you had all the other sports that you wanted could be on TV, bar hurling in the last 2 weeks. And they were set up because it was going to make money for the actual GAAGO. And I am deeply concerned that the model that the GAA brought forward can only be success if they bring more matches onto it and put more matches behind the paywall. So the next match could be...
Which one of those rugby matches would you have scrapped for the Cork-Limerick game?
So think of the actual channels that are available. We have a wonderful provider that we're sitting here. You also have another 2 channels within RT.
You can't have sport on every channel. You can't have 2 rugby matches on. There's lots of people watching this who have no interest in the wider earthly world in sport.
There's plenty of channels within the Sestron.
You all must be such fear Gaels. You must love Gaelic games.
I think it's all about trying to find a balance and having no hurling on the 2 weekends in a row. There's no balance, and I'm only echoing stars like Diarmuid O'Sullivan, Sean O'Galpine, Tomás Mulcahy's on tonight, Mark Foley have all come out and said this is wrong. These guys won All Irelands. These guys won All Stars, and you should listen to the people on the ground.
Well, on that point, Declan, to some degree, have the GAA and the powers that be at GAAGO shot themselves in the foot in terms of the games they decided to put behind the paywall this year? I know you need to have some marquee games or no one's ever going to sign up for the service, but Cork were going to be, I know they had a bad start to the year, but in terms of the Munster Championship, but they were going to be one of the contenders for the All-Ireland later in the year. And to have 3 of their games, and plus the Cork-Kerry football match as well, this was always going to blow up.
Yeah, because I suppose Cork were behind the paywall for most of their games. A big county and a vocal county. I think the fact that they have Donal Logue as well, that gets the soapbox for them to push that too, helps out. But it comes back to commercial decisions by a sporting organisation. They've got to decide what's the best mechanism for them to make the most revenue from their product, essentially, right? And why we would be second guessing what the GAA decide is really surprising to me. And of course you're going to hear lots of hurling stars and hurlers coming out supporting that there should be more hurling on TV. We've heard of regulatory capture. I mean, they're like any industry that wants to promote their own industry. But of course, the GAA has more than hurling, and RTE has more than GAA Sport, and Virgin Media has to cover other sports as well. And there's only limited time that's within the schedules. So, if the GAA had their own TV station, they could show as much hurling and as much GAA as they wanted to. And guess what? That's what GAAGO is. So if you want to see the game, you can pay to see the game.
Senator Tim Lombard and Tomás Mulcahy shaking their head, and I wish we had more time, but we don't, unfortunately. I suspect it's something we're going to come back to later this year, and probably next year. It's turning into a hardy perennial. My thanks to Tim Lombard, to Tomás Mulcahy and Dr. Declan Jordan.